What's the worst thing that's ever happened to humans? At number 2 on this list is World War II. There were a few causes of World War II, the first of which being the Treaty of Versailles. After World War I, Germany was harshly punished through the Treaty of Versailles. It lost territory, was forced to pay massive reparations, and had to accept full blame for the war. The treaty crippled Germany's economy and humiliated its people, breeding anger and resentment, a perfect environment for a nationalist leader like Adolf Hitler to rise. Another cause of World War II was the rise of totalitarian regimes. In the 1930s, political and economic chaos across the world gave rise to authoritarian governments, such as Adolf Hitler in Nazi Germany, Benito Mussolini in fascist Italy, Hideki Tojo and Emperor Hirohito in Imperial Japan. These regimes were militaristic, expansionist, and anti-democratic, seeking to dominate their regions and undo the balance of power established after World War I. These three countries joined forces, forming the Axis powers. Global economic depression was also a cause for World War II. The Great Depression plunged much of the world into poverty and unemployment. Desperate citizens turned to leaders who promised national revival even through aggression. Germany's economy, already shattered by reparations, collapsed, paving the way for the Nazi Party to seize control. Expansionism and appeasement also fueled World War II. Germany, Italy, and Japan all began expanding aggressively. Japan invaded Manchuria and China, Italy invaded Ethiopia, Germany reoccupied the Rhineland, annexed Austria, and demanded Czechoslovakia. The Western democracies, especially Britain and France, followed a policy of appeasement, giving in to Hitler's demands to avoid war, but this only emboldened him further. The immediate trigger of World War II was the invasion of Poland. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland, using a false flag operation to justify it, breaking the Treaty of Versailles and fueling tensions with multiple European nations, officially starting World War II. Britain and France, who signed a mutual defense pact with Poland, intervened. The effects of this war were quite unprecedented. It stands today as the worst conflict and most catastrophic war in human history. The death toll was quite unprecedented. World War II killed an estimated 70 to 85 million people, about 3% of the world's population at the time. Civilians made up over half of the deaths due to bombings, starvation, disease, and genocide. The Holocaust alone claimed around 6 million Jewish lives, along with millions of others labeled undesirable by the Nazi regime. World War II also caused massive global destruction. Cities across Europe and Asia were flattened by bombings. Entire countries, Germany, Poland, Japan, were reduced to rubble. The war introduced total war, where industrial, civilian, and military resources were all targets. This war also ushered in the nuclear age and the use of atomic bombs. The US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August of 1945, killing over 200,000 people instantly and many more from radiation. This marked the first and only use of nuclear weapons in human history and demonstrated a level of destructive power that reshaped global politics forever, ushering in the nuclear age. Like guys, I don't think many people realize just how serious the invention of the atomic bomb really was. Because before that, the worst that humans could do to each other, was maybe shooting each other, bombing small towns, destroying a few blocks or something. But after 1945, we went from bullets and bombs to freaking Dragon Ball Z attacks or something, and erasing entire cities and in seconds, and over 200,000 people were killed instantly in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was the first and still the only time nuclear weapons were ever used on people, and it forced humanity to ask, maybe for the first time ever, have we gone too far? That moment didn't just end World War I, it changed what war even meant. And it was not even 100 years ago. The Axis powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan, were defeated by 1945. Hitler, Mussolini, and Japan's militarist leaders were gone. The war also destroyed the European colonial empires as colonies in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East began to demand independence. Europe was left in ruins while the US and USSR emerged as global superpowers. And in 1945, the United Nations was established to prevent future global conflicts. It replaced the League of Nations with real enforcement power and a Security Council designed to maintain peace, though not always successfully. World War II also created lasting psychological and cultural impact. humanity was forced to confront its own capacity for evil, from the Holocaust to the atomic bomb. Never again became a moral call guiding international human rights and war crimes laws.